In this video, we're going to take a look at applying CSS to our multi-tag sets and our organizational tags. Okay, let's work on those organizational tags now. Let's start with the header. Let's say we can give it a height, let's say, and let's give it also a background color. Let's also do, oops, and let's give this a order. Let's just make it solid. And notice, again, it doesn't matter what order I put these in. It's all fine. It's going to work either way, and I've mixed up the order, I think, in each case, and it's always fine. And notice that it does exactly what we said. Made an orange box, gave it this height, put the blue border around it, and it centered the text. Here's one more fun one for you. If we give it a border radius value, notice what that does. That actually rounds out the borders there, and that's nice. You can also do things like this, where you affect just some of those border corners. Bottom right. Okay, save that guy up and then take a look. So notice now we've got two square corners and two rounded corners. So we can even do things like that, and pretty, you know, starts to look pretty nice when we start to, you know, add style to specific details like that. Okay, so now let's take a look at the article. Let's give it a width, and then I'm going to do this: margin left auto, margin right auto. And notice what that does. That actually centers the article on the screen. What it's saying is, you know, they're pushing out from the two sides, and that basically creates a centered column. 70% seems like a little bit narrow, so let's make it 85. Let's try that. It'd be even cooler if we set off those articles with a color. So let's go ahead and go back and find ourselves another color. And again, remember how that CSS is working. It's applying to all of the instances of this particular element that are on the page. So that's really nice. We don't have to worry about going through and changing them all. I'm curious to see how that color works. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Now it is really tight on there. So what do we do about that? If we add some padding, let's just do a little 5px padding. It pushes out that margin. Now notice you know, the top now is brushing up right against. If we don't like that, we can do, you know, padding on all the sides except for the top. So if we want to get rid of that, we set the padding, you know, we set all of the padding, and then you can essentially reset the top padding value by putting that line after this initial padding value. So CSS, it doesn't matter, like within, if like I said here, it doesn't matter what order I put these variable values in, but it does load the code line by line, so you can override a previous line by putting something after. So the order does matter a little bit vertically, and from top to bottom, the things on the bottom will be the overriding elements. So there we go. So we've got our different, and notice we have now 3 different of these because we had 3 different articles on the page. We could do, you know, similarly, we could do something with our sections. Say, let's just say we want to add a little line at the bottom of our section. Okay, and so with our section, let's create a border on the bottom. Let's make it dash 3px, 3 pixel width, and we'll make it white, and then it will show up against the blue background color that we have. And there we get some nice dividing lines there. So now what if it kind of bothers us that this last line is right up against our bottom border of our article? Well, we can use a selector to help us solve that problem too. We can use section last of type, and for that one, we can set the bottom border to none. Go ahead and save that. Go ahead and save that, and if you come over here and reload, now we have the dashed line here that we wanted, and this one goes away. So there you go. So this gives you a really good sense of how you can start using CSS to start to make your page look pretty nice. And you know, I have not been careful in my color selection, so this page is, you know, not great. But I think you can get the concept and you can really see how this can start to be a pretty nice page. So I want you to, you know, be using your imagination and start thinking through how you can apply these, as, you know, some aesthetic principles and different elements of CSS to content on your page. And notice I showed you a decent variety of CSS properties and attributes, and hopefully that helps you out as you're starting to research your CSS. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of additional CSS that we didn't cover explicitly in your pages.